Welcome. I'm Larry Olsen, and what's on your mind? Once set, it delivers your life. To change the outcomes we want, we must change the plays we're running. Join us at Mindset Playbook with real people, real talk, for real insight. I'd like to welcome you to our show today, where we have the opportunity to talk with Walker Ramsey from Scottsdale, Arizona. And he has an amazing company that he's just started called Advantage in Media. Very nice, yeah. Yes. And Walker, we're going to start out sharing a little bit about where you've been, what's been going on in your life, and I know you recently graduated from college.
Correct. Yes,
okay. I did. And what was it you were attempting to accomplish in your education?
Wow. Okay, so this is actually going to date back pretty far, and before I started doing any of this digital marketing kind of media stuff.
Right.
And for the longest time, I wanted to be a professional baseball player. That's what I wanted to do.
Okay.
And since I was 3, that was really that's what I was going to do.
Wow.
I didn't think
You knew that young.
Yeah, and it was my dad loved baseball.
Okay.
It was just it was a family kind of thing.
Gotcha.
And I lived.
Never pushed back on it, like they were kind of overpowering you to go into baseball.
No, never. I was always a part of 2 or 3 different teams, and
gotcha.
So that was kind of my biggest.
What did you love most about baseball? Playing baseball.
I loved the lessons I learned. The adversity you face in baseball is much different than any other sport.
Oh, how's that?
You can be considered an excellent player by succeeding 3 out of 10 times.
That's true. Yeah.
So it's a game of failure, and so you have to learn how to deal with mentally. It's a large mental barrier.
Wow. Yeah.
And you really have to deal with failing. And I loved the amount of relationships I made playing baseball. I mean, I met some of my best friends ever playing baseball.
Fantastic.
What
position did you play?
I was a pitcher.
Oh.
In college, I was a pitcher. Until then, I pitched, I played the field, I hit. But yeah, so that was my dream. And when I graduated high school, I went to Paradise Valley Community College and played 2 years of baseball there.
Okay.
Had a lot of success, and then went to play Division I baseball for my last 2 years of college in Utah.
Oh, all right.
And it was good. I liked baseball, but it didn't feel the same.
It didn't?
Going out to Utah. No,
what changed for you?
I think along the way I kind of realized that it just really wasn't written in the stars, kind of.
Oh,
and
wow. After 17 years of your life.
Yeah, and there wasn't really a specific situation or scenario that made me say that, but it just kind of was time.
Huh.
And so as I got there, I found this new love in digital marketing. I was taking some classes. I graduated with my business management degree.
Gotcha.
And so I had to take a lot of marketing classes, digital marketing, and I kind of fell in love with the concept, and that this new age of digital media is going to be, it's just kind of taken over.
Yeah.
And if you can be one step ahead of your competition, why not?
Yeah, why not? Absolutely.
So that's kind of the story, and then I wrapped up my 2 years at Utah Valley, had a great experience there, graduated with my bachelor's degree, which I will be forever thankful for.
All right.
And then moved back here. I took a sales job right out of college because I was just all about the money.
Right.
I wanted to make money, right? And I knew I wasn't playing baseball, so I was like, what am I going to do? I didn't really have a passion yet. And so I kind of I took the sales job, didn't like it so much. It lasted a few months, and then
what was it about it that you didn't like?
Oh man, I have a laundry list, but I guess I'll just narrow it down to my boss was not a kind one.
Oh, okay.
That's all I'll say about that.
And even with your adversity you had to struggle with in baseball, that wasn't enough to deal with him.
Yeah, and I'll just leave it there. But that's kind of all. That's what it was in a nutshell.
Yeah.
And
there's a lot of different leadership styles out there, aren't there?
There are. Yeah, there are. And playing baseball for as long as I did, I felt like I'd seen it all.
Yeah.
Of course, that's never the case, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
So
and
that kind of created in your mind that it wasn't sales that so much as it was this boss, or was it a combination?
Well, what that experience in my mind had taught me was I don't need to do something I hate doing for a living. That's what I had taken out of that experience.
Just for
because I would be waking up in the mornings, and I can remember thinking, man, I don't want to do this day. Like this day, I would open my eyes in bed and say, wow, I do not want to do this.
Oh, man.
And I found myself doing that, and I became depressed in the weekends and just, not really living my life that I had been living for 20 years, 21 plus years.
Wasn't what you were used to.
Not at all.
Right?
No. And
had more pep in your step when you were loving life.
Yeah, and it wasn't there anymore.
Well, there's some people that say, well, you can't have that.
Yeah.
You can't have all that happiness. You're going to have struggles, and so what was the mindset for you that didn't allow yourself to spend the rest of your life doing something you didn't like?
You know what? I think it was as simple as there was a day that happened, and I kind of just sat down and thought, am I enjoying more than is struggle? In other words, are my days more happiness and joy and laughter and good emotions, or negative? Anxiety, stress, anger, sometimes depression. And that was, I kind of had that moment, and I thought, wow, I'm really not that happy very often.
Okay.
And that's not how I lived my life until this time.
So let's look at it then as kind of a milestone for you.
Yeah.
All right?
Okay. Yeah.
So where did you see the mind shift occur where you decided you weren't going to do this any longer?
I began losing my appetite in the mornings. Wow. Yeah. Wow. So I began becoming very, I don't want to say ill because I wasn't sick, but I became very I keep a lot of stress in my gut.
Okay.
And so I found that as these days went on, and I increasingly hated my job. Yeah. I woke up in the mornings not really hungry.
Yeah.
Wow. That's not a good way to start your day.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone
kind of a metaphor for life and not hungry anymore.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
So I found that happening, and that kind of triggered me into thinking, because at that point I was on cruise control. I was like, I'm going to be making a lot of money, and I saved up a good amount of money, and I was just like, this is how life is after college. And, that's seriously what I thought. I thought, if you're not a 5-star athlete, if you don't have these sets that propel you into stardom success, which is what I wanted as a kid.
Sure,
I wanted to be a professional baseball player.
Yeah.
I thought that it was just going to be life, and if you ever had a job that sucked, then that's how it was.
Absolutely.
And so it kind of allowed me to experience that and make that decision for myself.
Let me ask you this: a lot of times with people, they grow up, they have a dream. Mm-hmm. Okay, if they're fortunate enough to have good nurturing and have had some positive experiences with that whole mentoring process, because a lot of them don't even have an opportunity to get a dream.
Right.
It's just a job and a struggle, and there can people out there saying, "Get over yourself." What right do you have to feel this way? But everything is relevant to the situations we're in our lives. So here you have this dream that you're manifesting, you're succeeding at in baseball, and as we all know, any of us who like to go out and see sporting events, you are the stars.
Yeah.
You are the reason we are watching this. Mm-hmm. And there's a degree that you do well, we like it even more.
Yeah.
Right? Because people identify with their sports teams a lot.
Yes.
They lose, they're down, they win, they're up. Exactly. So you had a lot of power. And so rather than, and this is what it sounds like to me, rather than just getting into a fetal position, pulling the blankets over your head and never getting out of bed again, you were able to transition from letting go of a dream that you had for 17 years. Your whole upbringing was wrapped around baseball and encouraged by your father and your mom. And because I remember, and the folks out here aren't aware of that, but your mother is our doctor, and her always talking about this little guy. What a great baseball player he was. And this is the first time I've had the opportunity to sit down and meet this guy who's grown up now. So you had a lot of encouragement, and it was something you enjoyed. But rather than moving from, I'm just going to go through it, this is just the way it is, like you mentioned, something changed for you. And you talked about the social media. You kind of got an appetite about that. Mm-hmm. What was it about that could replace baseball? And I'm not saying it replaced it.
Yeah. Yeah, replace, I don't know if it is the right word, because it was kind of something that fell in my lap.
Okay.
And, I guess I can credit that to, I had a lot of interest in this digital marketing class I was in school.
Okay.
And that was kind of the one that took the most of my attention throughout my coursework. And so, I should kind of say this is right when I left college, I didn't know what I was going to do. So sales I was on LinkedIn, I was looking for jobs, and this one kind of met the criteria. You can make a good money, and, it's for people who are hungry for money.
Gotcha.
And so I was like, okay, sign me up. And so I did it. So really without any thinking, without any critical thinking in that situation, because I was kind of in a rush. I didn't feel like I had time to sit down and unwind. I literally graduated from college, obviously finished the baseball season, drove back home to Arizona, and then that day or the next day started looking for jobs. So, and my mom and my dad, my parents, everyone was like, just take a week, take a little bit of time, figure out what you want to do. Yeah. And I was like, let's go.
Sure.
And that's what my headspace was in for such a long time, even playing baseball. That was kind of the mantra of if you want to be successful, you got to get up, you got to work out, you got to go.
Stay in the game.
Yeah. So, it's interesting. I'm not sure what to credit that shift.
Okay.
Maybe it was that I could leave my sales job and had some time to reflect, and I had some money saved up, so I wasn't worried about making money or anything like that. So it kind of gave me some time to reflect, just personal reflection.
Sure.
And like you said, my mom is my best friend. I tell her everything.
Oh, that's great.
So I bounce off ideas.
Yeah.
I talk about life with her, and she's I can't speak highly enough of her.
Beautiful.
So,
Beautiful. Yeah. So on any journey, and you've got a lot of journey ahead of you.
Right.
You get some setbacks, you get some obstacles, you get some stuff that don't go well for you. And in business, if you're only winning 3 out of 10 times, you're not a Hall of Fame baseball player. So you're, you had that kind of developmental tool of resiliency and being able to bounce back. But then when you get into life and you have these setbacks or things don't work out for you, it can really cave a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever experience any of that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. What was one of your setbacks?
I went through a ton of mental setbacks.
Okay.
And
what were those like?
They're rough. They're rough, obviously, because
now was this self-doubt or was this questioning self, or was this? Did it ever get into? Am I worthy of this? Did it get any of that kind of stuff?
It was a lot of confusion.
Okay, confusion.
Confusion was the biggest variable for any of my setbacks.
So what do you mean by confusion?
So, for example, a setback as far as when I'm out of college and I'm taking the sales job and everything, and I'm just confused about why I'm doing it. And I'm kind of confused about what's going on in my life. Okay, my whole life, 22 years, was playing baseball, going to school, working out. That's it, and it was on repeat for 22 years. There was no thinking, real critical thinking involved.
Gotcha.
And so when I was at this time, things started slowing down, although they were still very fast as far as my mental and kind of awareness goes.
Gotcha.
And so it was just the confusion that kind of, and I was just confused at where I was in life and where I fit in.
Gotcha.
And, that was the biggest setback, I would say. I went through a ton of setbacks with baseball. I mean, obviously it's a game of failure, so you have to deal with a lot of failure. And I was I had much more success my first 2 years of college than my second two, so I think that kind of ate me up inside a little when I decided I didn't want to play baseball.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the biggest setbacks for me was that of confusion, because just not really knowing my place in society and how this whole thing worked.
So now it sounds like you're starting to get into this concept of purpose.
Yes.
what the heck is Walker doing on this thing called planet Earth, right?
That's exactly it.
And you need to be real gentle on yourself, because our ability to think forward is with the frontal lobes. And as you're probably aware with your mom, in her background, they don't fully develop until about 23 to 27 years of age.
Right.
So it's difficult to think ahead.
Yes.
But yet you're caught up in society that says, what are you going to do when you grow up?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm much harder on myself than anyone else. I'm my biggest critic, and I think that's a common thing, but I kind of bring it to a different level. Okay. I'll beat myself up a lot. Like
you put it on steroids?
Yeah. I get in those wormholes of, wow, I did this wrong. Oh, what if I do this? And it's just kind of like a downwards. And I'm starting to realize or notice that I can catch myself.
Good for you.
when I'm going down.
Because let's take a look at that a little bit.
Yeah.
Generally, that's a symptom. When you're doing that, when you're chasing your tail in your mind, it's a symptom of the having not asked that question of what am I doing? Why am I here? What do I want to accomplish? What's my intent in life?
Right.
And one of the things that you bring to the party that you're probably not even aware of is you're a really good listener.
Thank you.
You're very genuine, so you make people feel comfortable about you. Now,
that makes me happy.
That's a gift. You're welcome. You're welcome. And so it's kind of like what people tell me. My daughter's constantly telling me this. Just be dad. Well, you're brought up that that's not enough.
Right. Yeah.
It's got to be something out there. We're chasing that. If I just have that, then everything's going to click for me.
Yeah.
And we overlook ourselves.
That's a good way. Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So when you get triggered into the point where you find yourself getting into this dialogue of this person you would never call a friend.
Right.
Because you wouldn't hang around with somebody like that, right?
No way. No way.
No. And I think we can all be our own worst enemy. But I think that what you're sharing with the audience and with me is we've got to recognize the trigger and not entertain it.
Right. Yes.
And realize, no, wait a minute. I'm developing my sense of purpose. I'm developing and finding out why I'm here.
Right.
And it may not end up being this. This may be a stepping stone that turns you on to something else.
Very well could be.
Right?
Yeah.
But you got to stay open to it.
Absolutely. Open to everything, attached to nothing.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. That's beautiful. Where'd you come up with that?
I didn't. It's actually in this book called The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's one of his laws is the law of detachment, and just not being attached to anything but open to everything.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And another thing he's talking about is don't get attached to those thoughts about all that doubt.
It all works
Release
together.
it. Yeah. So we've talked about kind of where you started from and what your vision was,
right?
Without even someone having to say, you got to find your vision.
Yeah.
You just were living it.
Yeah, I was.
Right? Your whole life. And then all of a sudden, the second couple years of your life, the baseball maybe wasn't going the way you wanted it to go, and all of a sudden it's not as important as it used to be.
Exactly.
Right? And you got a lot of fulfillment from it, though. Right?
That's an understatement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So what I would like you to share now is what kind of successes, what kind of ahas have you kind of had for yourself since you started into what you're doing now and you're developing this new company and
Well, I'll share one. I want to share this one because it's my favorite one of my life. But so in high school, I actually stopped playing baseball my junior year.
No.
My coach wanted me to be on JV again, and because I was small. So I was a really small kid.
Okay.
And I didn't grow until about my senior year in high school.
Gotcha.
And so, just from that metric alone, not skill level, my coach said, let's put you on JV for this year. And I just said, no, I don't want to do this. I don't want to play. Another just kind of strange decision, shot in the dark. Wasn't popular with my parents.
No.
But so I got a job and started living life like a normal teenager without the routine and everything.
I gotcha.
And then some big life things happened. And senior year of high school, around spring break, I decided I wanted to play college baseball. And so this is taking off my junior and senior year from high school.
Whoa.
And that's kind of like, I wasn't entertaining playing college baseball at all up until that. Yeah. And so I decided to play, and then that summer I got a spot at PV, at the PVCC, and played baseball there for 2 years, and then finally made it to Division I baseball. So that's, for me, the biggest step was understanding that I really wanted to play baseball in college and get an education. Wow. And without playing my last 2 years in high school, that was like the biggest winning. That was the biggest win for me.
So what did you learn about yourself?
I learned that I can do way more than I thought I was even capable of. I didn't think that there was any way I was going to be playing any kind of college baseball, let alone Division I.
Wow.
And I just did it. I put my head down and I was like, I'm going to do this. And I called up my pitching coach. I was like, I want to play college ball. And sure enough, we did it. Wow. And so that was a big one for me. And it transpired after a pretty major life event, a passing of a family member. So that was kind of a big deal for me. Wow. Yeah. And it was the whole, like, what am I going to do after high school? And so so that was a big win for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, a big hurdle over a mental barrier, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And was something like that happening in your life? Continue to affirm that. Continue to recognize when you do start to get that doubt, which we all do, that, wait a minute, I'm the guy who nobody said there would have been a prayer, and you know what, of taking those dominant years out of the equation where you're invisible now. Yeah. No scouts are seeing you, nothing's going on, right? And then all of a sudden, because of your work ethic and your mindset, you pulled it off.
That's really what it showed me.
That's huge.
Really what it showed me.
Yeah.
So now I feel like, if this isn't it, if this digital marketing isn't it, I feel like I can do anything. And I don't mean that in any cocky or arrogant way at all. Right. I mean that as in, I saw what I could do with almost with nothing as a baseball career. Yeah. And I'm confident. Well,
those of you that are listening to this and can't see the video of it, if you looked into Walker's eyes when he shared that, you could see there's no sense of arrogance whatsoever. It's just it's like saying, this is my right arm. You're not going to argue with him because you can see it's his right arm. Yeah. So that's such an important thing to have in our lives, is to recognize that there's wins there in our lives and not to pass through them too quickly.
Yeah. Absolutely.
To revisit that in times, because the brain, where we get all of our understandings of who we are from our past experiences, and those are all stored subconsciously. So we're typically not even aware of them. What's conscious is what's going on in my life right now.
Exactly.
And what the brain gets attached to are the things that are significant. Yeah. And more often than not, the things that become significant are negative.
Yep. Way more often than not, it seems like.
And then you lose sight of, whoa, that's not going to get me what I want. But most people aren't aware of some of the things that you and I are talking about.
Yeah.
And so they get caught in it, and then it becomes their life, and they see it in the news, and they see it everywhere.
And I wasn't aware for the longest time. Yeah. For the longest time. And even just now, I'm still working with this every day.
You bet.
So.
Well, great. Yeah. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy that we were able to make this connection, and I hope we can definitely work with each other moving forward.
I do too. So thank you all for taking the time to listen to us. I look forward to our next opportunity to get together, and we'll share what's going to happen on our next visit. But all the best to all of you, and stay safe and healthy, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you for tuning in to our very first podcast at Mindset Playbook. Next week, Tori Cowley, a recent graduate in graphic design, sits down with Larry to discuss expanding her career into art consultation, but must first overcome her nervousness at job interviews. In this interview, you'll learn the plays necessary to overcome doubt and present your best version of self, no matter what the circumstances you find yourself in.